The Perimeter with Adam Morrison is proudly presented by Owens Farms Piedmontese.
Let me share a local Spokane secret that everyone needs to know about. Owens Farms Piedmontese beef. Trust me when I say this. You cannot beat this meat. It's tender. It's flavorful. It's some of the best beef you'll ever put into your mouth, period. And to top it off, when you eat it, you can say goodbye to the meat hangovers. That's because Piedmontese beef is lean and has much less cholesterol than your typical supermarket beef. It's a new year. It's time to start living your life with no regrets. Go to ofp.farm to reserve your half or whole order of premium Piedmontese beef today. Go to ofp.farm. The Perimeter with Adam Morrison is produced independently and locally in Spokane, Washington by Spokast Studios. Our city, our stories. Visit www.spokast.com to learn more about how you can start your very own podcast today. Thank you to Jinx Universe and Position Music for letting the Perimeter use the song Let's Do It Again from Jinx's album, Make It Look Good.
The Perimeter with Adam Morrison is brought to you in sponsorship with Delicious Hamburgers. Did you know Delicious Hamburgers and Fries are the freshest in Spokane? Their hamburgers are never frozen, and that's because it tastes better. There's not even a freezer in the restaurant. Their fries are always made to order and never sit under a heat lamp. It's differences like this you can truly taste. Next time you're craving the freshest hamburgers and fries, head to the corner of Augusta and Division and ask for the Perimeter Combo. A triple delicious hamburger with grilled onions, pickles, and special sauce. It also comes with fries and your choice of a milkshake. Delicious. Taste the difference.
Let me introduce you to the Spokane Workers Co-op, a locally based worker-owned holding company whose mission it is to increase access to living wages, workplace democracy, and autonomy, and to create the sort of lifelong career trajectories that are increasingly uncommon for the majority of people in America. The worker owners of SWC, regardless of which business they work, are equal co-owners of the entire holding company, providing them not just direct ownership of the fruits of their own labor, but ownership in a diversified and resilient portfolio of businesses dedicated to serving Spokane and the Inland Northwest. SWC also buys traditional businesses. SWC buys traditional businesses like LLCs, partnerships, and sole proprietorships, for example, from owners who are ready to retire and who want to make sure the employees who help them build their business are taken care of after the owner leaves. Learn more at www.spokane.coop. And if you're an owner interested in talking about selling, email SWC at team@spokane.coop. That is team@spokane.coop.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Turn up the 10. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 10 of The Perimeter, sponsored by Owens Farms Piedmontese. I got Brennan, the producer, with me. What a week for Gonzaga basketball. What an exciting 3-game road trip, capped off with a 1-point win against BYU. Heated rivalry in the West Coast Conference. I think we're 23-7 overall, but it's the team that's given us some difficulties in the past. Obviously, St. Mary's is probably the traditional rival for the last 15, 20 years as far as West Coast Conference championships and tournament championships. But there is a understated natural hatred, I guess, or not hatred, but a dislike for BYU. So obviously the game came down to the wire. I'll recap it here in a second. You were just saying off air you didn't have a chance to watch it live. What a bummer, dude. You should have notifications put on your thing, like no ESPN deals, or you know what I mean? Like,
I should have.
Score updates.
It was a bummer. It was a bummer to not watch it, but I mean, I got to experience some of the excitement at the very end, because that ending was crazy, and it was also cool to see him pull it out at the very end too.
Yeah.
Again,
it was great atmosphere. Obviously, it was a one-off game. So what I mean by that is just a 1 day or 1 game road trip. So you fly in the night before. Normally we stayed in Salt Lake. We stayed in Provo. Actually, better town than I imagined, and I mean that in a nice way. But it had more things to do than I first gathered when I was like, oh man, we're playing fucking Provo. God damn it, because Salt Lake is actually kind of a hidden gem. If people haven't been there, it's really pretty, and then there's more stuff to do. It's not the 30 years ago, oh, you can't get a drink. It's like, yeah, you can. There's bar. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it was. Like, so just calm down. And it's kind of a foodie town too. So there's good restaurants and there's more to do. So yeah, we get in and, there's kind of a weird vibe about going into this game because at one point BYU was 5-5 on the season and then they won 7 in a row. 2 of those being against non-Division I opponents, but they kind of got it turned around, and it's kind of a weird year for them because it's their last year being in the WCC. So you're wondering, are they looking ahead, kind of greener pastures, quote unquote? But then also, they really haven't been successful in the league as they were predicted to be, or to at least challenge us coming from the Mountain West, where they were the top kings when, Jimmer Fredette and that whole crew, and then, Dave Rose, well-coached teams. And so it was like, all right, is this team, focused? Are they, what type of recruit are they bringing in now? Because it is a different type of league when you get into Big 12. I mean, here's an example of how good the Big 12 is, or not how good, but like how hard it is in that league. I was watching Texas Tech the other night. Okay. Texas Tech is 11-7 when the game comes on. And at the time they were 0-4 in conference. You know what I'm saying? Like Texas Tech, who made a deep run last year, who's given us problems in the past. That's how good that league is. And like, so you roll in and you play a team like that, and your fans or maybe the media's like, oh, they're 0-4. They're absolute. It's a layup. It's like, no. And they were giving Texas all they could handle. They were up at halftime. At one point I would watch, they were up 12. So my point is, like, for BYU, it's like, well, what type of player are you going to bring in? What style? Does your style change? And it has, compared in the last 5 years, but especially this year, they've really relied on defense. They were plus 10 on the glass as a whole. In contrast, Gonzaga's plus almost 6. And we usually pride ourselves on being in the plus 9s. If you're in the plus 9s, you're really good. You're top 30 in the country, and you can, helps you win basketball games and control the glass and get out in transition, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows the strategic part of rebounding. But if you can just have that as something you hang your hat on, you can, have nights where you don't shoot it well, you get in foul trouble, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of one of those pillars of winning. And so you look down and you're like, wow, they're plus 9, plus 10 on the glass. And then they were holding teams to like 66 points a game, which is totally opposite of what the older BYU teams used to be. The BYU teams that gave us problems, I think they won 3 in a row at home at Gonzaga for a stretcher, which is unbelievable. I think it was like 17, 18, 19 or 16, 17, 18, one of those things. Is their style was fun to watch with the Haas brothers. Yoli Childs was a good player. But Dave Rose, they got up and down and they played similar to us. So like it got to where if you watch those games, it was like, man, this is going to be a track meet and it's fun to watch. Totally opposite now with Mark Pope. There in the first half, we started off great. Anton Watson had a fantastic first half, had 14 in the first half. I think he started 6 of 6, just making the right plays, knocked down a 3, was beneficiary of some nice assists. Drew was getting double teamed, and we do a good job of, I won't give up the name of the play or the coverage, is where you put your big down on the low block. If they're going big to big or there's going to be a long rotation, you put shooter on the same side. So the guy has to pick whether to go, drop down and they call it choke down on the low hole. It's the charge circle area, or stay out on the shooter. And if they don't, you just throw down and dunk. It puts teams in peril, so it makes them get out of it. It's kind of I think it's kind of an NBA thing that they've adopted. It's really good. But Anton was, super aggressive, right off the bat. And at the start of that game, we kind of controlled the pace. And I was kind of looking at Huddy during the broadcast because in recent years past, we've blown them out there a couple times where like it just takes the, all the energy out. There was, I think they said the attendance was like 18.5, just under 19, which is crazy.
Holy cow. I didn't realize it was that.
It was their largest crowd they've ever had in that building. They removed seats from last year, and they've been talking about doing, seat backs. They used to have bleachers. So then, sometimes less is more, and I think it's smarter. You can sell more tickets or higher price, blah, 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 and it's better for their students. But they had, students all the way up to the top on their section. Students there are great. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, they toe the line of being, inappropriate, but not, if that makes sense. But it's a good, one of those things where they understand the game. It's not just random cheering, if that makes sense.
It's polite trash talk.
Yes.
Is it? No curse words.
No curse words, and they obviously don't sell alcohol in that building, so everybody's high on life and all that stuff, and that's fine. And we're the same way. We don't sell alcohol, so but you go to some places, especially on the road, and they're students if they're 21, and then everybody else, and it gets a little bit more vulgar, and just like any sports arena.
Yeah.
So it was, like I said, it was a packed house, and we start off like gangbusters. And so I was thinking, oh, man, this might be a blowout. This is going to be awesome. Last game we'll ever play here. And when I say that, I'm almost 99% sure that we'll never play BYU at BYU ever again. You know what I mean? We'll never do a home and home conference, non-conference since they're moving to league. So this is their last hurrah. And so we start off going yes, this is gonna be fucking awesome. We're gonna blow them out. It's great. It's gonna be funny, haha, type of deal. And to their credit, they hung in there. They have some different type of players on the perimeter. Gideon George is kind of a bigger wing that in the years past, like the Haas brothers were obviously great scorers, but a little bit, thinner body and couldn't really push you around defensively, and, needed more actions to score. Gideon George had a like I said, great first half, like 6'4", 6'5" wing, big body, can jump, can shoot. So he started off good, and then the Robinson kid was fantastic, and then the Johnson kid was fantastic for the whole game. But they were just, really calm and cool and collected, and made a run there in the second half of that first half and pulled the game within 5. So going in, you feel good, but you're like, man, we had an opportunity to kind of blow this open to 15, and now we're only up 5, because that's in one stretch we were up 10, and so they did a good job of climbing their way back into the basketball game. Defensively, decent job on Drew in the first half. They mixed up their double team coverages. They wasn't always big to big. They would sometimes go, I think we call it white, where you double on the strong side, and then you pre-rotate and make them make that extra swing, and then hopefully your guy can, make the long run and close out. But it was a team that, again, it's so odd to see a BYU team that kind of play in the half court the way they do, and kind of eat up clock on the possessions. Like you're used to them, with Dave Rose teams, just throw it up the floor. If you're open, fucking let it rip. Fun to watch, but sometimes it put them in peril defensively, where you could make bigger runs on them. I think Dave Rose is probably, not Dave Rose, Mark Pope, excuse me, is probably if I'm going to play in this tougher league next year, I need to start establishing, hey, we need to be better on the glass, and we're going to have to play some grind outs, because that's the Big 12, Big 10. That's just how the basketball is. So anyway, we go in up 5 at half, and you feel pretty good, but it's man, it's an opportunity. But it's kind of the story of this team this year. We don't have that knockout punch. Oh, we do, but we don't have it as often as we did in the past. And that's the best way to describe it. It's not a knock on our guys, but years past, Corey might go nuts and make 4 threes in a row, then Joel hits one, you know what I mean? And then Jalen, it's you don't have that type of guy. It doesn't mean they're not good players or they can get to that. We just don't. So it's just how it is. So we start the second half, and obviously up 5, we just come out a little bit sluggish, and it's like, man, what's going on? And their crowd starts getting into it. The kid Johnson, let me see, hits 3 3-pointers almost kind of in a row to get him back, like take the lead, and the crowd's going absolutely bananas. And we just looked really stagnant. There was a stretch there from the end of the first half, from probably like 4 minutes on all the way. I don't know, I remember the exact number, like minute wise, but probably like halfway through the second half, like the 10-minute mark left in the game, we were 8 for 31. So we just got really stagnant defensively, couldn't get anything to drop, didn't get out in transition. Rasheer had a game he'd like to forget, I think, on the, on the road, 0 for 7, but he had a couple breakaways where he missed one, and then he got stripped on one where he should have quick laid it up. And then Nolan Hickman was 1 for 5. I'll talk about the one that he made later as the game progresses, but we really couldn't get anything going on the perimeter. It was really, our guys inside, Anton and Drew. And then we got to mention, Ben Gregg had 10 points in that game, especially in the first half. Had 8. I should have mentioned him earlier, but really kind of paced us and understood that our advantage was on inside instead of out on the perimeter. So like I mentioned, we go 8 for 31. We really kind of stagnant, and they make a lead or make a run, and all of a sudden you look up with like 5.5 minutes to go. We're down 10. You're like, oh shit, we might lose this thing. And the place is going bonkers, as they should. And they were hitting like big ass shots, like, contested. It wasn't necessarily bad defense, but it was like contested. Mm-hmm. You rotated, you tag the roller, and they swing. And like I said, Gideon George and the Johnson kid, like, close out, whack. And it's like, everybody's going nuts. And you could just feel the energy, like, they won't say this, but like, we're finally beat these motherfuckers. Like, finally, know what I mean? Like, hate these bastards, and like, and so you could just feel that energy. And I was in their game there. So what would it be? 2020, before COVID. Yeah. And one of their senior night, and they beat us, and they stormed the court, and it was just fucking chaos trying to do a broadcast with like everybody on the court and like yelling, and then like trying to talk to you when you're like pointing at your mic, like, dude, I'm on the air, because they can't hear your voice, and they're talking to you, and you're just like, dude, so you have to look down and try not to break your concentration. So I was sitting there like, fuck, I got to do this again, and then. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn it, I don't want to like have to do this.
Was that going to happen? Were they going to storm the court if they?
Oh yeah. So we're down 10 with like 5.5 minutes to go, and it's one of those deals where like, all right, this could swing either way. Obviously we can't have empty possessions. They got the better whistle in the second half. We had the better whistle in the first half. There was 3 block charges that went our way in the first half. So like, if as a fan or as a broadcaster, obviously, Gonzaga employs me. I try to be unbiased when I watch the games and call them, and they're like 2 of those 3 were bad calls in our favor. Mm-hmm. So them getting the better whistle in the second half didn't surprise me. Refs don't do it on purpose, but if there's another close one, they're like, shit, I need to, or they give the ball back to you. Oh, travel, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and I think that's kind of good officiating. Some purists are like, no, you call it exactly. It's like, nah, sometimes it's part of feel. Good officials have feel for the game. If a guy has his 4th and he fouls a guy, but there was no clear advantage, you look the other way. Mm-hmm. And if you're a coach, even if it's the other guy, you want that for your guy too. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, for sure.
So, they're, like I said, they're getting the better whistle. They're knocking down threes, and so we get to this stretch where, like I said, we go 8 for 31, could not score, down 10 with about 5.5 minutes to go. Look up and I'm like, man, we only got 3 personal fouls right now too. So if we need to start fouling, like, obviously 5 is too early, but it's like, we might want to like show hard on a ball screen and try to get a steal, but like commit some aggressive fouls that make sense, that could go either way. But like, we might need to start getting into the bonus, or get them into the bonus if we have to start fouling. Mm-hmm. So I believe it's about the like 3.5 minute mark. Score's about the same, or still the same, 10-point lead for them. And it's like, okay, starting coming back. Drew's doing his thing, 9 of 18, had a good game overall. Wasn't completely dominant, and I mean that in the nicest way, but he's been fantastic. Says 18 or 19 points and 13 rebounds, but it wasn't like a signature take over the game type of deal.
For sure.
Anton slowed down in the second half, ended up with 18 on the night, so he had 4 in the second half. But like I said, mentioned had a great first half, but our perimeter guys could not get it going. I've already mentioned Rasheer 0 for 7, 0 for 1 from downtown. Only points were from the free throw line. Did have 5 assists, 3 turnovers though. Julian on the night was 4 for 12, had 11 points, and then Nolan Hickman at that time was 0 for 4, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, but just really not making an impact on the game defensively. Part of that was their plan. They did a good job on the high ball screen stuff. They center field and win it over. What I mean by that is instead of showing out hard on every ball screen, they did it on a few. They took away the roll, so then they put the onus on the guard to make 14-footer, or if they go over the top, you turn the corner. Now you turn into a 12-footer, then you have to swing, and then if you trust your guys, and you should be able to do it, is tag and get out and close to make it really difficult perimeter shots. So basically what I'm saying is our guards weren't playing very good offensively. I mean, weren't turning the ball over too terribly, but it was still like, we need to make sure we're putting the ball in the basket type of deal. But anyway, we get down into that game -10. There was a situation where they got a sideline OB, and it was about a minute and a half left, probably 2 minutes. And it was one of those where we had 4 personal fouls. And it's like, all right, do we start fouling now? Because, obviously it's 30-second shot clock. You probably shoot it at 25, so then you do the math. You can shorten this game up. And we put on our man press, which is, nothing spectacular as far as strategic. You just deny your guy and try to get a steal. And we were lucky enough to get a couple, steals. And what was funny was the point I'm getting at when I keep talking about the fouls is having that ability to pressure and knowing that you can get a foul, but they're not going to the line right away allowed us to be super aggressive on those sideline OBs and baseline unders going full. So we had a couple opportunities where, we kind of pushed a guy in the back. There was a sideline OB that they had that we got a steal that ended up being a wide open 3 for Hunter Silas, which is the biggest shot he's ever made in his career. We were down 4 at the time. Knocks that down. And the same thing, Nolan Hickman had one off a steal as well. Same thing, down 4, hits another 3, down 1. And you could just feel the energy of the building just, because they were just struggling with that type of pressure. And our guys are doing a good job of full denying, holding, making it really difficult to get the ball in bounds. And, with, I think it was, 15 seconds left, they get a 1-on-1, up 1, make the front end, and then miss the second. And I thought Coach Fee was going to call timeout, but sometimes you got to let that, sizzle a little bit. And I think he did a good job, obviously. So it was basically Julian gets the ball, and they were going high ball screen like you do with everything with Drew. And the idea was probably going to be turn the corner, try to get a seal for Drew, turn the corner and then have a flash and then Barry throw in and let him go to work. And if they double, then you got to kick out, you get a wide open 3. But the guy went underneath the screen and it was kind of weird, or he just played completely off Julian and he just walked up. It's obviously a huge shot, but he just walked into like a workout shot, you know what I mean? And just whack. And at the time he was 3 for 11. So that was a big ass shot for him to knock that down. And so, he makes it, and just the whole building is just energy.
I bet.
And Huddy's going nuts on the broadcast. I'm laughing. So just like, this is funny. We're gonna steal this fucking thing from these guys. And last time, like I said, last time we were ever coming here, blah blah blah. When they first came in the league, they said they were gonna dominate the league, and So the reign is over, and they've never won a league championship, never won a tournament championship.
Right.
So you're just like, oh, this is just so satisfying. But you're like, all right, there's 9.5 seconds. I'm like, still got to play defense. And credit to our guys, we went straight man switch that last possession, and Anton got switched out on their guard, and he's done that pretty much his whole career. That's been his beside the last 2 years, but his first 2 years, that's why he was on the floor, because his ability defensively to be dynamic, his scoring has been amazing this season. But just switches out on a guard. If you're able to switch like that, it just takes away so many different actions and tips the ball on a 3-point shot. And obviously we win, and places just that you could hear the groan of like, oh my God, we did this again. And it was just hilarious, and a fantastic game to call. But if you think about it, so we start the league with a bye, which was weird. We win the league, but you get your bye the first weekend, which is dumb. And then we play Pep and obviously blow them out. But then we play 3 of the hardest road games besides St. Mary's in the league in a row. And we combine and win them for 8 points total out of 3 games. So, excuse me. It's just funny that, this season, I think everybody in the league feels that this is not the strongest Gonzaga team that we've had in the years past. Like, fuck, we can get these guys, and we still go on the road and eke 3 of them out, and firmly in control of the league, 4-0. Obviously, St. Mary's is 4-0 as well, but we're just like, oh, we're in the driver's seat again, and good luck, guys. Thanks for coming.
It's cool to watch this team have so much resolve at the end of the game. Like, it makes me hopeful for the tournament and what we'll see from them, like, especially in these games. Like, and it's what you talk about all the time. We're getting these March type of games in January, and this is what we've always wanted from the WCC.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Like, honestly, like, I've always said it, and maybe I'm being redundant, but these type of games help you so much more down the stretch. Now, I get where people are like, you're a 10-point favorite and you're top 10 in the country. Like, why are you? Fair argument. But also, Santa Clara was 14-4 at the time, really good team. Herb Sindick, I can go into that. San Francisco was 13-6. And I'm not talking about Murderers Row, but these are not like the bottom half of the league. It's like, then we're going to Pacific, and we'll talk about later. You know what I'm saying? Or Portland at, you know what I mean? And laying an egg and getting a win. It's like, no, these are grind out good wins with top 150 type programs that are playing better, and with the transfer portal have high level recruits or guys that played at Power 5 conferences now getting an opportunity. So they're usually kind of a little bit better players than they've had in the past, if that makes sense, or a little bit different athletes than they've had in the past. So I'm really excited about this group because, like you mentioned, the resolve is more fun to watch. We ended up winning, what's the plus 15 on the glass against a team that was plus 10. And, to counter that, at San Francisco, we were minus 19. So the message was received loud and clear. So that part was fantastic, to see. And again, like, as a fan, as a broadcaster, as an alum, these games are so much more fun to watch. It really, like,
they really are.
Just think back, like, as a Gonzaga fan, if the people listening are like longtime GU fans, and most of you probably are, like, how much more fun was it when these type of games were like every other weekend, and we'd get like a 3 seed or 2, or a 4 seed, and we just, all right, let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like that type of year again.
Right.
It's kind of a little nostalgic in a good way. I'm just, yeah, sweet. We got to scrap and claw a little bit. We got to make plays. We got to, like, all of that is great, because again, it just helps you down the stretch where you don't get in a game where you haven't been in this situation or had this type of anxiety to make plays. That's a real thing. You can practice late game situations all you want, and you should, but if you've never been on it when the lights are on, there could be a reason for anxiety and chance to not perform. And our guys have done it in every which way. And we've done it with Drew playing like shit against San Francisco. Okay. And then we've done it where him and Anton, the inside guys, were fantastic, and our perimeter guys were pretty shitty against, as far as shooting the basketball against BYU. That 300 Silas made was awesome for that kid, just for moment. He's 2 for 3 from the game, but he's had a great year as far as really, locking into the role that he has of being a kind of defensive stopper, slasher, playing like 18 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Doesn't get very many opportunities offensively. You can tell he's worked on his shot, and it's a lot better than it used to be. When he first got there, it looked broke. It just did as far as mechanically. And I hate to say that, but because obviously he's, if you make it to this level, you've worked on your shot, but it just looked mechanically off. And you can tell that he's putting in the time. And it's a process with, especially shooting. People don't realize like it's a rep deal, but you have to rep the right way. But like you have to put in 200 to 300 a day. And sometimes it takes a year and a half to really see it's like a golf swing. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to go grind at the range if you want to be good at golf. It's no different than shooting.
Yeah.
Some people are born naturally better shooters than others. I think I was. I know it sounds funny, but like I coach my kids. I'm like, just fucking put it in,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like, it just was kind of a natural thing, and I did it longer. You know what I'm saying? And some people are not. And so him working on it is, fantastic. Like I said, great moment for that kid. That was off of a skip too, where it was like they purposely left him open to take away the pass inside for Drew. And it's one of those like, I got to shoot this. We're down 4. If I miss this, I get the rebound. It might be ball game, and then whack, and then it kind of gets everybody going. And then Nolan, that same situation. He's 0 for 4. The previous game, he has 20 against Santa Clara. Best game of his Gonzaga career. Hits that big time step back 3 on the kid late in the clock. So you're like, all right, he's going to get something going. Like, now the scoring's going to come. The floor game for him has been fantastic, but let's add the scoring. And now he's really rounding off to be a fantastic GU guard, which he's on the way. But my point is, like, you look for momentum in seasons, and he's 0 for 4. And you're just like, fuck, come on, let's go, man. You know what I mean? But he's not playing, he's not forcing anything. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the game is still flowing through him. He's still flattening defense, all that stuff. So for him to take and make that shot, too, was fantastic. And obviously Julian, that goes without saying. But he's had big moments in his career and played a lot more than those guys. So I was just really happy with that. But again, it's just funny because I just don't understand the league sometimes, man. And the West Coast Conference has gotten so much better. We threatened to leave for the Mountain West a few years ago, and I think it was a bluff, but it was a good bluff because there were certain things that we wanted to get changed that were rightfully so. I don't know if I've ever said in an episode what the changes were, so I'll just go backstory real quick.
Yeah.
When the league did their breakdowns with the money as far as NCAA tournament, so how it works is every round that any team from your conference makes, there's a pool of money that goes to the conference. So let's say you make it to the Sweet 16, you get, I don't know the number, but let's say $1 million or 500,000 that goes directly to your athletic department. So I think you can use it on whatever you want, or maybe you have to use it on that sport, but it's a great boost. And it's anybody from the conference. So like the Big Ten, if they have a good year and it gets 4 teams to Sweet 16, they're going to get, $2 million or they're
Gotcha.
you know what I'm saying? Like, yay, so then they can use it on their, pay for the next year's league tournament in Chicago. You know what I mean? Like it just pays a lot of bills, obviously. Yeah. And with that allotment, they were giving Gonzaga their percentage, and then everybody else got to split it. And so Gonzaga was always like, so we've been going to deep runs in the NCAA tournament for 20 years, and we're getting the exact same money that Pepperdine's getting. It just didn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
It was unfair.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and so like we're not saying they don't get anything, but the percentage should be higher.
Right.
And most conferences do that, right? Like, hey, you've you had the success, so you get 50% and they get 25 or whatever the number is.
Okay.
And so they were pissed off about that, had every right to be. And then Fewy was pissed off and he had every right to be. He was playing the 3 games in Vegas. I know the fans love it. That first night game that you have to play instead of 2 made no sense. It's like, so we finished number 1 seed and we still have to play a game that does not help us for our seeding at all. Is going to drop our RPI. And if we lose, we're going to lose a fucking seat on the seed line. We're going to go from 2 to 4 or whatever. So like, if we win a league, I don't want to play this game. And the league's like, fuck, they're right, but that's an extra game on ESPN. It's an extra game in the building. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's
for sure.
So that was the, not bluff, but that was the like, hey, we'll fucking leave you guys right now. And that's okay. And then everything got changed
For sure.
and they were fair, points to be made.
For sure.
So when I'm talking about, us in different conferences and going back to my point, I know it's a long-winded answer. It's like, we just won the league last year. We get the first bye week. So you're like, well, fuck, cool. We get a bye on the first weekend of the year. Like, yay, like you wanted it in the middle of the season or in your conference play. And then we have to play the 3 hardest road games in a row. Yeah, and I'm just always like, I don't understand some of their thinking. And I know there's more that goes into scheduling with other building. I get that. I think it's not just as simple as like, Gonzaga, what do you guys want? But it's like, all right, so we have to play 3 road games in a row. This is, yay, cool for us. And we just won the league. But yeah, so great weekend. Obviously, going with, Santa Clara, San Francisco, and then backing it up with a 1-point win the way we did it. I was happy for those guys. It's fun watching, their maturity level grow. At the start of the season, if we get down 10 with 6 minutes to go, or even in the second half, we probably fold, or we try to make hero ball plays. We don't stick to the game plan. We don't keep pounding inside. We don't keep doing the same thing defensively. So, congrats to the staff and congrats to the guys of kind of understanding that. And it's, like I said, it's so much more fun to watch and call and come back here and talk about it instead of like if it was a 30-point win, which we're going to talk about with Portland here in a second.
Right.
What do you really talk about? So yeah, it was pretty cool. You can see the long faces at BYU. It's just always funny. I mean that in a nice way, but because I know they don't like us, but they're so nice. They're always so nice. That's the funny part too. They're just such nice people down there.
They are very nice. I used to work with a lot of BYU alum, and being a Gonzaga fan, we always like made bets on it. But even after they would lose, like they're always really gracious and nice about it.
Yeah.
But as a competitor and as someone, like, it's always fun to like do that on the road.
Oh yeah. No, it's a satisfying feeling. And in the way that we did it, where we kind of stole, like I said, we were down 10 with 2.5, 3 minutes to go. And we 3. Oh my God. It's like, what just happened? And so, but yeah, so then, obviously like I said, it was a one-off game, a fly back. And then we got Portland, who was an interesting matchup coming in because they had a great start to the season, kind of darlings of the media for a while with them at the PK80 tournament we were at. They take North Carolina, who was unranked now, which sounds funny.
Yeah.
Just because it's, what the hell? But number 1 in the country there, take them, and I think they ended up losing by 5, but they had a chance to win it late, where it was a 1-possession game with a minute to go. Beat Villanova, who's not strong, but a classic powerhouse team and a team that should beat Portland. I'm not trying to take anything away, but and then they lose to Michigan State by 1. So you're like, okay, what type of team are we going to see? And then you look and you're like, oh, Portland's 1-3 in conference, and they lose like 5 in a row. So you're like, what team is going to show up? Shantae Liggins used to be at Eastern, knows this, Gonzaga program well. Plays a different style than I'm accustomed to seeing. Plays very analytical. They had one game where they shot 42 threes this year.
Holy cow.
It's layups, threes, or free throws, so it's very analytical. And I'm not against that type of basketball, but I don't think you can. I think you go 75% into that strategy and 25 the other. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you go 100% all in. I think if you play that style, you have to have extremely skilled players. Now, if you do, it looks really good. Well, yeah, you should shoot 33s a game, but if you don't, it's like, well, fuck, what bad shot. But in some coaches' minds, well, that's the shot that's presented to us, and I need to take it. And it's like, well, actually, sometimes you have to run a high ball screen, and your players need to make a 15-footer when the guy's in a complete center field sag, and that's what they're giving you. And I know the analytics say it's the worst shot in basketball, but if they can make 4 of them, they'll get out of that defensive coverage, and then you can get your other shit going. You know, that's my point. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just have to do stuff that works. So yeah, like I said, coming into this game, you're like, okay, what team's going to show up? There is some chippiness from that program to ours, dating back to his deal at Eastern. There was a situation with Brandon Clark that, you know, so it kind of left people a little bit sour. So it's always, when they play each other, it's, you know, it's not a BYU Gonzaga deal, but it's like, hey, I want to kick your ass type of thing, even though nobody's not going to say it to the media. I know it, obviously. And so, you know, we just jumped on that team. I think we were up 14-4 early, and just absolutely, you know, waxed them. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. First half, we had, I think, 10 or 11 three-point makes. Already got the tacos right away. So
Everyone was very excited about that. Everyone was yelling tacos in the building. Yeah, there was a 3-point clinic. I feel like.
So last year we set the record, I think, conference record with 3-point field goal makes with 18, and we had 17 this last game against Portland. So I just was scratching my head on their, you know, defensive strategy. I said it to Huddy on the air, and I know I'm right. It's like half of those 3-point attempts were what I call workout shots. You've heard me say that. It's where, like, there's no defense, or the closeout's like there, but it's not. You know, it's, you know, my coach in high school used to call it a gun sight, like when you close out just kind of halfway instead of really getting up into a guy and make him force him off the line. It's like you're just putting a gun sight up for the guy. Thank you. And it's one of those where, like, Coach, I closed out. No, you didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I was just, like I said, scratching my head. I'm like, are they going to learn? Because we just did the same fucking thing to them last year, where we just literally shot them out. It's like, nah. But it's like high-level players, just 3-point. Yeah, it was just, I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, Anton played great with 12. Drew had 18. He only played 21 minutes, which was perfect. You want to get him off the floor in a game like that. Nolan bounced back, 5 for 8, 3 of 6 from downtown with 13. Julian, solid again, 14 and 6. Rasheer needs to get going a little bit, had 8 points, 3 of 8. He's playing fine as far as the floor game. I just want to see him make more shots, and that's not a knock. It's just, I think he's going through a mini slump or whatever you want to call it. You know, he had a big game against San Francisco, won the game for us. So I don't know, but it's just like some of his shots, he's been unlucky is my point. If I'm thinking back at his shot selection's fine. BYU, he should have scored on those 2 breakaways. That's my only real legit complaint. It's like, I mean, you got to go lay that up, man. Just go score it. But he's had some bad luck as far as like in and outs, ones that look good coming off his hand in the context of the offense, all that stuff. So it's like, no, he's not playing bad. It's just not going down, and you're not taking horseshit shots. So it's like, okay. But, you know, then you look at, you know, Ben Gregg, another solid game. He had 10 at BYU and gets 12 off the bench in only 14 minutes. You know, then Hunter had a good game with 3 of 5, played 23 minutes, but it, you know, it was nice to see him. And then obviously Malachi had 27, 25 minutes, 9 of 13, 7 of 10 from downtown. But we go 17 for 38 from 3, which is 45%, which is great. You know, and shoot 56% from the field. We hold them to 11 for 33 from downtown and 41% overall. But again, I just sit there and I just don't understand. Like, I know Drew's is a tough matchup inside, but also, like, I'd rather say, all right, let's have Drew. If you're Portland's with their roster, I'm going through like what I would try to employ defensively. It's like, I'm not letting these guys shoot me out the gym 2 years in a row. So like, let's let him throw it to Drew. Maybe come with a dig or a half double team, but like, maybe he scores 40 tonight, but I'm not letting fucking every guy line him up and just go whack, 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 whack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's what they were doing.
That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
And so then you look up and you're down 30 because,
Yeah.
you know, obviously threes are worth more than twos, and you start ripping and then everybody gets rolling. You know what I'm saying? It's a confidence thing. The gym gets going.
Yeah.
Energy picks up. So I was just kind of perplexed. And then, like I said, you didn't know what type of Portland team was going to show up because you watched them early. You was like, oh, it's Portland's year. And then, you know, they lose those 5 straight and they're 8-10. And you're like, well, okay, what team is this regressing to the mean? Or 'cause last year they were 19-10 and got a tournament win in the, what's it called? The CBI or whatever, that other one that's not the NIT. And so you're like, well, good job, Shante Liggins. You got the program. 19-10 is good. And you got a tournament win and you're making some headway. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of your analytic style, but you're a college basketball coach. You know what you're doing. And if you go 19-10, that's a good year, especially for a program that hasn't been great in the last decade. But again, I just didn't understand the policy defensively, but our guys did a good job of knocking down shots and really, taking care of business. And kind of, we needed one of those. We just talked to death about the 3 road wins and only winning by 8. It's fine. But we needed a blowout where everybody kind of gets in, feels good.
Yeah.
If you look down, most guys scored. You know what I'm saying? It's good percentage. Things were rolling. It's like, wow, we haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah.
And it's nice to do it in league, not with just like, oh, we scheduled, Valdosta State,
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It feels good to do it in leagues. You're like, all right, it counts for something. You know what I'm saying? And then, league obviously knows your tendencies and what you do. So usually they, most teams play you better. So yeah, it was overall, it's a great start. 4-0, that goes without saying. Your point was fantastic on, it's fun watching this team kind of, grind things out and play different styles. And then, Drew doesn't play great one game. We still win. Rasheer steps up. And then, and BYU, our perimeter guys are struggling. Drew and Anton carry us and Ben. And then all of a sudden, 3 perimeter guys knock down the biggest shots of their young careers, so it's like, it's not just happening one way, it's happening multiple ways. And it's a great trend going into February, March. So yeah, we got, 2 more league games coming up that we'll preview. LMU, who's coming in at, 14-7, 3-3 in conference, beat BYU at their place before our game. So kind of an interesting team. Got a kid that's averaging about 18.5 on the perimeter. Pretty good guard in Shelton. The Leah Pepe kid is always a mystery to me. Plays his tail off. Doesn't look like he should be a college basketball player. Is squeezing everything out of, not very skilled. And I mean this. And this is a complete compliment. And literally plays as hard as you've seen anybody play. Knows his role. Is all in, all that stuff, all the stuff you want to be said about you as a player. He is just not very skilled. And I mean that in the nicest way, but so he's always a different matchup. He's a guy that, can physically, push some of our bigs around. Maybe he's got better skill wise, but in the last few years, he's probably like 8 points a game off garbage stuff. Not when I say garbage, it's not demeaning, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just like extra extra
rebounds,
time.
Rebounds and non-plays, like when we're running plays for you. So yeah, this team is always perplexing a little bit.
Yeah, the history with LMU is interesting just because I was looking at the stats earlier and they haven't beat us in over a decade. And yeah, it's an interesting. Well, it's always an interesting when we get these games because you get into this part of the season and it gets kind of slows down a little bit. I feel like
some of these teams are going 2 ways. They have aspirations to obviously try to make a run to get into the NCAA tournament, or they think they can get to like an NIT, which is great for a lot of these programs. It's not a knock. That's a stepping stone to getting to where you want to be, or like Coach Few and Bill Gurr used to always say, send them to the beach. And I know it's not that late in conference season, but they used to be like, just send them to the beach. These guys don't want to be here. And it's so true. Like some of these teams that you can just tell that have, and I don't think LMU's that, but you start getting into halfway through conference, we're 5-0. We're getting close to getting to halfway. We're gonna be like, you'll see like some of these teams will give you a fight for like 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then just be like, we're done. Like we're gonna lose again. But it's weird. The LMU arc. I got an interesting story, I guess. So one of the guys that used to be like a clubhouse guy in LA does shot clock when I was with the Lakers. Does on the scores table, he does the shot clock for LMU games.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a basketball guy, but he works for the Lakers as well as like a clubhouse guy. Cool dude. So he always sits right next to me. So we always chat. And hey man, what's going on? How's fam? You know what I'm saying? And he's been going to LMU games probably 10, 15 years. I don't know what, but long enough to remember. He's like, when this program really, changed from going upwards and then back down to where they were, where they are now. I was like, well, he's like, we played them. The only time the West Coast Conference tournament was in Spokane was my junior year, and Coach Few used to bitch about it all the time. Hey, we win the league. How can we never get a host the fuck? And we have a brand new arena. And he was right, because we'd always win the league, and then we'd have to go play at Santa Clara, and then I think we played in San Diego the other year. I always liked it though. It was fun to go to Santa Clara. We had a blast in that. There's a big Marriott with a massive foyer. And I remember for my freshman year, we won at the buzzer, and we walked in, and that whole fucking place was filled with people just walking around with beer. Like, it was awesome.
That's awesome.
All Gonzaga people, you know what I mean? Just getting, oh yeah, players sure have a beer, like nobody gave a shit. The coaches, like, it was fun. Just a fun night, you know what I mean?
For sure.
So we play LMU at our place, and that year we were a 3 seed, and we're playing for seeding. Basically, we know we're getting the NCAA tournament, but also it was a lot of anxiety. It's like, fuck, we better win this conference tournament, guys, at our place. And Coach View's been begging for this shit. If we don't win this, we're gonna look like assholes. And it's my last year, blah blah. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, fuck, we gotta win.
Yeah.
And we're playing like shit against LMU, and they had a baseline OB, I think either down 1 or down 2, and they run a screen slip and get like a wide open layup to a 7-footer. I think his name was Chris Ayer, I think. And Earl Knight goes over to help and bothers his layup attempt enough. Dude smokes the layup. We get the rebound, get fouled. We fucking win. Sigh of relief. Oh my God, we should have lost. Like, great out OB play. Like, 2 guys go out to the shooter, fucking slip, like, well drawn. Like, oh fuck, like, as he's throwing it, I'm like, oh, we lost, because he's wide ass open, and like Earl comes over just enough, but it was like one of those, he's 7 foot, like, just fucking lay it up. And that guy was like, after we miss that layup, if we make that layup, we go to the NCAA tournament, we beat Gonzaga, recruiting gets better,
right?
Facilities probably. The university's like, yeah, we're back. LMU, we're back. We're in LA. We can win. We can get, the second tier California player that's really good.
Yeah.
But it's not going to UCLA or USC, but he's really fucking good, and we get that kid. We're going to be fine. And he's like, all because of a missed layup. And it's just crazy to think. And I was like, holy shit, you're right. Like, one missed layup changed the whole arc. And that's not to throw that guy under the bus.
Right.
But he's like, it changed the whole arc of the program. A missed layup.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
The strangest thing about the WCC to me is how much it relies on Gonzaga and their success. Because, I mean, I imagine recruiting at other colleges, like, you get a chance to play Gonzaga twice a year.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so it's
part of it.
It's just part, like, it's a very, it puts, Gonzaga obviously in a very strong position. And that's why when you tell that story earlier, it's just like, it makes sense. Like, WCC is not much without Gonzaga.
Well, I'll counter that. You're not wrong.
Okay.
But the counter to that is last year we had three teams in the league. And that's three bid league. Normally it's been 2, probably the last 5 years, St. Mary's and Gonzaga, maybe a mixed in NIT here and there. And then BYU's done that as well. So you're not completely wrong. The league is getting better.
Yes.
And
obviously, yeah.
And analytically, like last year with Ken Palm, it was. It's not just us being like, we play in the league, so it's great. It's like, no, if you look at the numbers, some of those were quad 2 wins, some were creeping into quad 1. Like that's never been the case.
Yeah.
San Francisco's put money into their building. And, like it's beautiful now. They've actually they put money into the building. Pepperdine is going to break ground, I think, in 1 year or 2 years, which is insane down there.
On a new facility?
On a new basketball facility.
Oh, wow.
Or a gym.
A gym, yeah.
And which is, thank God, they need it. And it's like, you guys could be really good at like volleyball too. They used to be, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to get a better facility and just use that as a practice court or whatever, or have the volleyball matches there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much positive to doing that. And what I mean by like, it's hard down there, just maybe this is inappropriate, but like how hard is it? Can you imagine how hard it is to get like building permits in Malibu?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, it's probably very difficult.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
And if you block the view of somebody that's paid $4 million for, and that's probably on the lowest end. Somebody that paid $10 million for an ocean view, he's going to sue your ass and litigate you until you can't fucking build your building, and rightfully so.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, to get something done there is like, holy shit, good job. And then, some of these other programs are trying, obviously BYU's leaving, but they've always tried to win. And then St. Mary's is, I think the stat on St. Mary's is that he has the highest winning percentage in Southern California in the last like decade. And nobody ever says that. Like Randy Bennett's a great coach and they're a great program. Tiny ass gym, but they they try to win.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting, like how, cause and effect. And when he told me that story, we were on a broadcast, it was in between. And I was like, holy shit, dude, that's crazy to think. He's like, you remember that game? I'm waiting for him. Yeah, what are you talking about? And then I was like, wow, man, that is really wild to think that one missed layup fucked your whole program for a decade plus.
Yeah.
Or didn't fuck it, but like didn't help it.
Yeah.
So, it's always interesting playing those type of teams. LMU always plays hard. Got a new coach. I think it's year number 2 or number 3 for him. They play a decent style. It's just, I don't know. Well, hopefully they can turn it around because I think that's the school more than any of them that has a chance to, like I said, get the second tier California kid or the kid from Nevada. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a beautiful campus. It's in a nice part of LA. Like you're right by the beach. Like it really is beautiful. I mean, the gym's decent. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, like too, I always wonder, like, if you're a player, like, do you really give a shit like how nice the facilities are? Like, is there a gym? Is there a weight room? Yes. Do they have a strength coach? Yes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like sometimes I think that's overplayed a little bit too. It's like, oh, their facilities. Like, so you're gonna change. You're gonna go to a school just because their locker room has a TV and the other one doesn't. Like in your locker, and I got a PlayStation. It's like, if you're really a good player, you probably don't. You want to go where the good coaches are. I can have success. I'll play. You know what I'm saying? It's
For
like,
sure. Like you want to play, and and if you aren't going to the next level, you want to be able to like get a good education. And you want to play, and you want to like, and you probably want to have a career in basketball after playing here.
Yeah. So hopefully that program can continue. But they've always been, hard nosed, tough to play against, and their new coach. His name is. It's escaping me. But he runs a good style of basketball, and they're decent this year. Like I said, they're 13-7, so 3-3 in conference, and a chance to get a marquee win against Gonzaga. And then we got Pacific on the road down there. I will watch that game on TV. I got other things I'm going to do.
Pacific.
Yeah, it's not the most desirable road trip, and then my daughter plays 2 games in a row, the Friday and Saturday. So,
oh gosh! Wow, yeah.
So I won't be attending that one, but it should be a fun week. And like I said, we got through kind of the gauntlet, but also it's also a test to like, all right, these games are not going to be as what's the word I'm looking for? Like publicized or hyped?
Yeah, hyped. They're not going to be as hyped. Yeah, I mean,
hyped. So
the end of the last like 8 games of the season are going to be are going to be fun because St. Mary's twice, get
Yep.
BYU again,
Yep.
get a bunch of other
San Fran,
rematches.
Santa Clara at home and stuff like that. So it's, looking forward to it. But again, great start for our guys, and I'm excited, and I really like where this team is at. It's not just because we're winning; it's the way we're winning. It's the maturity of the guys. It's the toughness of the guys. It's the growth of how they're playing as a unit. All that stuff. And I know it's always sounds cliche, but you don't see it in teams sometimes. You just don't. So then, those cliches don't apply, and when they do happen, they're good.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch from afar a little bit and be like, good job, Hunter. Like, that's a big ass shot for you, man. Like, fuck yeah. Good job, kid. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like. Yeah, man.
If this team just feel like they're a really close-knit team, like you can feel it and you can see it and how they play together and how, different players are coming, or, we've had different high scorer like almost every game in the conference so far.
Yeah.
And it is exciting to see for the future of the program too.
I agree. Yeah, it's not as one man show or whatever. And Drew has been fantastic, but early in the year it was like, fuck, man, we can't have him scoring like 30. Have to score 30 a night to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't win that way, and you're gonna tire him out and blah blah. It's just too hard. So yeah, it's great, and what a great weekend, and another one coming up, and yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on the show again.
Yeah.
And, thank you to our sponsors for keeping the lights on for us. And,
Yeah, definitely.
thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week.
Let's do it again.